Season 6 of The Chosen is unlike anything Dallas Jenkins and his team have ever created, and for good reason. It tells the story of one single day, the final day before the crucifixion. It's a bold choice, but also a necessary one, because these hours changed human history forever. Almost the entire season unfolds under the cover of darkness, filmed mostly at night, giving everything a haunting, heavy atmosphere that mirrors the pain of the Gospels. Think about it. Betrayal, denial, the secret trial, the mocking, and the flogging. They all took place at night, in the shadows, hidden from the safety of daylight. Now The Chosen is capturing that same reality, forcing us to feel the weight of each moment. Dallas himself has said that this is the most emotionally and spiritually demanding season the cast and crew have ever made. And it makes sense. They are not just acting in a story, they are walking through the very moments that broke and remade the world. Episode 1 of this season wastes no time. We will be thrown directly into the events that followed the Garden of Gethsemane. The betrayal has already happened. Judas has kissed Jesus on the cheek. The guards have dragged him away in chains. The disciples who swore they would never leave him have scattered into the night. From here, the trial begins. Not one trial, but a series of them, each one more brutal and unfair than the last. First, he is taken before Annas, the former high priest, who questions him about his teaching. Jesus, calm and unshaken, reminds them that he has taught openly, never in secret, and everyone knows what he has said. Yet even in his honesty, he is struck across the face. This single blow sets the tone for the night. It is not about truth, it is about humiliation. Then Jesus is dragged before Caiaphas and the Sanhedrin. Here, false witnesses are brought forward, but their lies do not agree. The scene is chaos, accusations flying, nothing making sense. Finally, Caiaphas demands an answer. "Are you the Messiah?" he asks. And Jesus, with words that echo through eternity, responds, "You have said so." But from now on, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of God and coming on the clouds of heaven. With that single statement, his fate is sealed. Caiaphas tears his robes, calls it blasphemy, and sentences him to death. But the Sanhedrin cannot carry out an execution on their own. They need Rome. So Jesus is dragged into the cold early morning, handed over to the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. What follows is one of the most painful displays of injustice in human history. Pilate questions him, asking, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus answers, "You say that I am." Pilate finds no fault in him. He sees no reason for death. Yet the crowd outside grows louder, angrier, more desperate. Pilate tries to pass the problem on to Herod, who mocks Jesus, dresses him in a purple robe, and sends him back. Again, Pilate tries to reason. Again, he declares Jesus innocent. But every time the voices shout louder, "Crucify him!" Pilate offers a choice: release Jesus or release Barabbas, a criminal. And in a decision that still shakes the soul, the people choose Barabbas. Pilate washes his hands, but history remembers. He gave in to the crowd. Before handing him over, Pilate has Jesus flogged. And this is not a simple beating. The Romans were merciless. Their whips tore into flesh, each strike leaving wounds that cut to the bone. The soldiers mocked him, twisting thorns into a crown and pressing it into his head. They spat on him, they hit him, they called him King of the Jews. And through it all, he remained silent. He did not fight back. He did not curse his enemies. He endured. And this is only the beginning of Season 6. This is what the very first episode will drag us into: the weight of betrayal, the cruelty of men, and the quiet strength of the one who carried it all. But what makes this season even more powerful is not only the story, but the way it is being told. Dallas Jenkins has revealed that Season 6 is being shot over 86 days, longer than any season before. They filmed in North Texas, in Utah, and in Matera, Italy, the same haunting location where The Passion of the Christ was filmed. That ancient stone city carries its own weight, a reminder of history and suffering. The cast and crew felt it as they worked, carrying the pressure of telling this story in a way that feels real, raw, and unforgettable. And according to Dallas, the finale of this season will not just be another episode. It will be a feature-length film, a $30 million production designed to break our hearts and remind us of what sacrifice really means. This is why The Chosen Season 6 feels different. It is not just another chapter in the story of Jesus. It is the moment where everything collapses, where love meets hatred, and where light meets darkness. For the disciples, it is the night of their greatest failure. For Mary, it is the night of her deepest heartbreak. And for Jesus, it is the night when he carries the weight of the world's sin without saying a word in his defense. Season 6 is about to leave us in tears, not because we don't know how the story ends, but because The Chosen is forcing us to live in the pain of the moments before the resurrection. And if you thought Season 5 was powerful, Season 6 will shatter you. As we move deeper into Season 6, the weight of what is happening becomes unbearable, and yet it is impossible to look away. The Chosen is not only retelling the story of Jesus' crucifixion, it is placing us inside the moment, forcing us to sit in the fear, the confusion, and the heartbreak of those who are closest to him. Imagine being one of the disciples in that hour. You've seen him calm storms, raise the dead, walk on water, feed thousands, and heal the sick. You know he is the Messiah, the one sent by God to change everything. But now, the man you believed would deliver Israel is standing in chains, beaten and mocked, and you are powerless to stop it. This is the tension The Chosen is going to capture. The unbearable silence of followers who don't understand why their king refuses to fight back. The series is giving us more than just a retelling of Scripture. It is immersing us in the human cost of what happened that night. Think of Peter, who swore he would never abandon Jesus, even if it meant dying with him. Yet when the moment came, when the pressure was on, Peter denied him 3 times. The rooster crowed, just as Jesus had said, and Peter broke down in tears. Season 6 will show us this collapse, not as a side note, but as a shattering moment of failure. Because that is what betrayal looks like. Not just Judas, who sold his master for silver, but also Peter, who loved him dearly yet stumbled when courage was required. And what makes this so heartbreaking is that every disciple will face their own weakness. Fear takes over, confusion blinds them. And in the end, Jesus stands alone. But this season does something bold. It lingers in that loneliness. Dallas Jenkins has said that Season 6 isn't rushing through the events like other films have done. Instead, it's slowing everything down, stretching out the hours, forcing us to feel the passage of time. That means we are not just witnessing Jesus' suffering, but we are feeling the silence in between the blows, the hesitation of the crowd, the restless shifting of the soldiers, the tear-filled eyes of his followers watching from a distance. Every detail, every moment, is drawn out to mirror the heaviness of the night. This is why almost the entire season takes place in the darkness, with the cameras capturing that haunting, eerie glow of firelight and moonlight. The shadows are everywhere, on the walls, on the faces, on the hearts of the people who were there. The production itself has mirrored that darkness. The cast has been filming overnight, hour after hour, often finishing when the sun is rising. That physical exhaustion, that disorientation, is not an accident. It bleeds into their performances. Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus, admitted that this has been the most difficult work of his entire career. Portraying the crucifixion took such a toll on him that he lost weight, his body weakened, and emotionally he was shattered. He said that carrying the weight of Christ's final moments pushed him into a place he had never been before. And when you see his face on screen, you will know it is not acting. It is something deeper. Elizabeth Tabish, who plays Mary Magdalene, described it as devastating. She said, "It's like watching someone you love be tortured and mocked and crucified. It's awful." These words alone should prepare us for how emotionally heavy this season is going to be. But what adds even more weight is that Season 6 is building toward a finale unlike anything The Chosen has ever done. When Dallas sat down to write the script for the crucifixion, he said he felt an overwhelming push to go all in. This wasn't just another episode. This was the single most powerful event in history, And when he turned in the script, the Come and See Foundation, the nonprofit funding The Chosen, was so moved that they decided it could not simply be released as a normal episode. They wanted it to be bigger. They wanted the finale to be a movie, a full-length film in theaters across the world. The cost of bringing this vision to life? $30 million. Just think about that. $30 million for one episode, because the weight of this story demanded that scale. Already, more than half of that has been raised through crowdfunding. And Dallas has made it clear. This is our chance as viewers, as believers, as people moved by the series, to help finish the story. He promised that the way The Chosen is telling this story, the way it is illuminating the meaning of Christ's sacrifice, has never been seen before on film. Now, think about what that means for us as an audience. This isn't just another biblical adaptation. This is The Chosen giving us a chance to feel the cost of the crucifixion in a way that goes beyond the screen. For the first time in television history, we are going to see this story told across two mediums, episodic streaming and theatrical release. That means episode 1 will drag us into the trial, into the mockery, into the betrayal. But the finale will take us into the full crucifixion on the big screen in a way that will leave no one untouched. And here is what makes it even more powerful. The very first episode of Season 7, which will focus on the resurrection, is also going to be released in theaters on Easter weekend of 2028. The pain of Season 6 will spill directly into the glory of Season 7, and together they will complete the greatest story ever told. Season 6 is also significant because of where it was filmed. North Texas and Utah gave the production their sets and sound stages, but it was in Matera, Italy, where the most haunting scenes were captured. Matera is a city that looks like it was carved from stone itself, with streets that seem unchanged for centuries. It is the same location where the Passion of the Christ was filmed, and the echoes of that film linger in the air. Abe Bueno Jalad, who plays Big James, said that being on set in Matera was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Even when he was not scheduled to film, he would come back just to watch. He described moments on set that gave him goosebumps, moments so powerful that they drew everyone into silence. When the cast themselves feel that kind of weight, we as viewers know that something extraordinary is coming. The truth is, The Chosen Season 6 is about heartbreak. It is about the disciples realizing that the moment they feared has finally arrived. It is about Mary Magdalene watching helplessly as the man who saved her life is tortured before her eyes. It is about a Roman governor torn between justice and politics, and a crowd swept away by rage and fear. It is about Judas, whose betrayal set everything in motion, and who must now face the horror of what he has done. Every character we have followed for years is brought to their breaking point in this season. And yet, even in the midst of this chaos, one truth remains: Jesus is in control. He is not a victim of circumstance. He is not at the mercy of Rome or the Sanhedrin. Every step, every word, every silence is part of a plan bigger than any of them can see. And that is what makes Season 6 so devastating and so powerful. Because we, as the audience, know what is coming. We know that he will rise again. We know that resurrection is on the horizon. But for now, we must live in the pain of the night. We must sit in the darkness. We must feel the silence of unanswered prayers, the fear of shattered hopes, and the despair of a world watching its Savior condemned. The Chosen is not rushing us past this. It is making us stay here. And when we finally leave the theater after the crucifixion, we will not be the same. The moment of the crucifixion is where everything slows down, where every second feels like an eternity, and where the silence of heaven weighs heavy upon the world. As Jesus is led out beyond the city, carrying the wooden beam upon his torn shoulders, the crowd follows in shock, anger, and confusion. Some cry, some mock, some cannot even look. And in this single procession, The Chosen Season 6 will take us into the heart of the story that changed history forever. The sound of his steps, weakened yet steady, echoes louder than the shouts of the crowd. Each stumble feels like the earth itself groaning in sorrow, and each breath he takes seems to pull the entire weight of sin closer to its breaking point. This is not just an execution, it is the turning point of all creation. But what makes this moment more powerful in The Chosen is how personal it becomes. We will not only see Jesus carrying the cross, we will see the faces of those who loved him. Mary, broken yet unwavering, clinging to hope through her tears. John, the beloved disciple, torn between grief and courage, refusing to abandon his teacher. And even Peter, somewhere in the shadows, watching the cost of his denial unfold before his very eyes. The cross does not just break Jesus' body, it shatters the hearts of those who believed in him, leaving them with questions that feel impossible to answer. Why didn't he fight back? Why didn't he call down angels? Why is the Son of God surrendering to death? And it is in these questions that the series captures the raw humanity of this divine sacrifice. The nailing to the cross is where pain and glory collide. Imagine the moment, the hammer falling, the crowd gasping, the heavens holding their breath. The writers and cast of The Chosen will not treat this lightly because this is the scene that demands reverence. Every strike of the hammer, every cry of agony, every tear shed by his followers will be carried with weight. And while the world around mocks him with shouts of, "He saved others, but he cannot save himself," we, the audience, will see the deeper truth. He could have saved himself, but he chose not to, because saving us was worth the suffering. The visual and emotional power of this moment will not leave a single viewer untouched. And then comes the dialogue from the cross, words that cut through centuries and pierce the heart as if spoken for the very first time. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." These are not just words of mercy, they are a declaration that even in his darkest hour, love triumphs over hate. My God, why have you forsaken me?" will shake us to our core, reminding us of the depth of his suffering, the weight of separation, the cost of redemption, and then the quiet assurance, "It is finished." 3 words that echo across all of time, announcing the end of one battle and the beginning of eternal hope. The Chosen Season 6 will not simply show the crucifixion as an event, it will make us feel the silence that follows, the dread that falls upon his followers, and the darkness that covers the land. For centuries, people have read these words, but to watch them come alive in the way The Chosen delivers, with the raw humanity of the cast and the faithfulness of its writing, will be overwhelming. It is not just about seeing Jesus on the cross, it is about realizing that every tear shed, every cry of anguish, and every drop of blood spilled was for us. The series will leave us with no distance between the story and our own hearts. It will feel personal, immediate, and unforgettable. This is why Season 6 is not just another chapter. It is the chapter where history and eternity meet on a hill outside Jerusalem. The crucifixion will be more than a scene. It will be the heart of the season, the core of the story, and the moment that binds together everything we have watched since Season 1. And as we reach this moment, one truth will become clear. Love has never been so costly, and grace has never been so visible.